Even before you fully come to, the piercing metallic scent of chlorine is the first indication that wherever you were, you have now arrived somewhere else. The smell takes you back to swimming lessons and water park visits, childhood outings now barely remembered, consigned to faded photos hidden somewhere in the family album. The sensation mingles with the sounds of dripping water and the buzzing of machinery somewhere in the distance. And when your vision clears and the surrounding world comes fully back into focus, that feeling of familiarity remains. You have been here before, perhaps many times, as if you have suddenly become aware again of a recurring dream that was once so vivid, only to have faded away in adulthood. You have been here before, but it has been a very long time, and what was once strange, yet comforting, now manifests as a rising sense of dread that whatever this is, it goes on into eternity, and you may no longer remember the way out. The space at first appears to be a pool or bathhouse. The walls and floors are tiled, and each room is composed of stark geometric forms. Prominent curving columns and large heavy walls divide the space, marked by sunken water features that provide the only source of motion amidst the overwhelming stillness. The lighting is muted and diffused, alternating between simple overhead fixtures and arched windows that provide a clean, ethereal light. There is no grandeur or ornamentation here, only raw geometry and stark, unadorned forms. Every room seemingly leads to others, featuring variations of the same simple elements that create a disorienting maze as one chamber blurs into the next. Though each space might at first appear to fill some function, their features hinting at a possibility of purpose, the further you go, the more this dissolves into ambiguity. Every corridor, staircase, and threshold only leads to others, a labyrinth of endless pathways and transitional spaces. The slides exist in contrast to this, scattered throughout the maze, emerging from unseen areas to empty into waiting pools. These large curving tunnels create a strange juxtaposition to the clean, hard lines of the rooms around them, a playful element in a world otherwise devoid of meaning. The presence of the slides brings the unease of this place into focus, an exception that amplifies the underlying dissonance instead of offering any relief. Suddenly, it occurs to you, no stacks of towels, swim gear, signage or decorations, no trash cans, benches or equipment. No sign of any life at all. Only the occasional mundane plastic chair can be found, or a simple safety marking on a wall. There are no specks of rust, no hint of wear or decay, not a single scuff or speck of dirt to suggest the passage of time or the continued use of this place. When every tile is pristine and every room untouched, even a single element out of place can feel shocking, even frightening. A bit of paint smeared over a wall, an inner tube floating on the water, or a chair left out haphazardly shatters the illusion of a clean, controlled environment. With each break from perfection, the sense that something is deeply wrong here becomes harder to ignore. The first abnormalities in the design of the rooms themselves are subtle. Gradually, the functional layout becomes strange, more arbitrary, and the ambiguity of each space grows overwhelming. There are pools with no way in or out, pathways that lead only into water features, and corridors half submerged. The bright, clinical lighting appears burnt out in places, creating dark recesses and pitch-black chambers filled with murky water. Even the slides seem more like an invasive presence, colourful serpents that twist and wind their way through rooms and corridors. The deeper one ventures, the more this place seems to draw attention to its own contradictions, until inevitably you arrive in a chamber beyond the ability for the mind to rationalize. The sense of nostalgia and familiarity exuded by this place can trick the senses into believing that the normal world is just a room or two away. That if one could only find the right path, they might again be surrounded by activity, warmth, and life. But there are places in the labyrinth that defy all logic, areas that cannot coexist with the lingering hope that you remain in a world of normalcy. Wherever you are, it is not a pool house. It is not a spa. You realize that despite its echoes of familiarity, this place was never meant to host a human presence. It is indifferent and imposing, where even its grandest of spaces feels as confining as the narrow sunken pathways between them. A terrible, suffocating emptiness exists here, in which every space seeks to contain rather than set free. Yet there is no choice but to venture deeper, and as you do, the rooms take on new forms. The tiles grow bolder, the lighting uneven, until even the perfect geometry of this place shows the first signs of distortion. There will be more to come, for in spite of everything, you have developed an awareness that there is something at the heart of this labyrinth, and you are getting closer. Where you came from doesn't matter. How you got here doesn't matter. You have left your own reality. You walk instead amongst the pools.